How's it going? Galore Wrestling Figures here. Welcome to another video. Today we've got a bit of a two-part video, and as you can tell by the thumbnail and the title, today we're going to be taking a look at and talking about the worst CM Punk figures released. Of course, the next video will be the best CM Punk figures released, so keep your eyes out for that. So, disclaimer, in my eyes, CM Punk has always had banger figures. You know, there's the odd figure here and there that isn't perfect, but overall, his figures have always been amazing. Now, of course, CM Punk has had figures from the start of Mattel releasing WWE figures. Of course, Mattel started releasing Elite Basics 2010. CM Punk was in Elite Series 1 and I want to say Basic Series 2. I'm not sure on the Basic, but it was on the early Basics. He had quite a lot of early Basics, but the main bit is Elite 1. So he's always been in it from the start. Of course, he left WWE in 2014, returned 2023. Since then, we've had a lot of figures. Also, next week is the day, well, I think it's over a couple of days, we will get, hopefully, new CM Punk figures revealed at the WrestleMania figure reveals. And the day of night 2 of WrestleMania, I am flying out to New York for something else, so I'm hoping I can catch all the reveals stress-free. So, more CM Punk figures, that's the dream. So, once again, CM Punk has had a lot of figures released over the years. Now, the first figure I want to talk about that isn't the best figure, and it might be a bit surprising to some of you, and it is the CM Punk Top Picks Elite. Now, the Top Picks they've got weird names in terms of what series they are, like series, etc. But it's one of the latest Top Picks. I know that. Of course, this is in my eyes, it's a weird figure. Of course, this is based off when he had his first match back in WWE at Madison Square Garden house show. And it's a cool figure. Of course, you know, this is based off, you know, his first match back. And the element of it mock and loose, it's a cool figure. However, the figure itself, it's not perfect. The head sculpt, I like having all my CM Punk figures accurate. Now, this isn't accurate in terms of Madison Square Garden, because if we're going on his entrance look, he should have slick back hair, so it would have been good if they included that as an extra head, and then the messy hair. And also, he should have a shirt on as well. I get that they didn't include the hoodie, but if it is based on Madison Square Garden, which it is on the back of the box, he was wearing a shirt. So, you know, you can always put the shirt on from the Elite 115, but it's a little details here and there that it's a bit annoying. And the figure itself is good for customs. You know, I get that. And it's, you know, it's a cool figure, but there's a lot of, you know, details missing on the arms. Of course, the chest tattoo doesn't have the red in it as well. And the attire, you know, he only wore it once or twice. So there isn't a lot of fix-ups you can really do with it. But once again, it's a cool attire, you know, what it's based off. And it's cool for customs, but it's not too good for fix-ups. So in general, it's not the best figure. Personally, I like it. You know, I'm not going to say I don't like a CM Punk figure, but it's not the best. Now, the next figure is actually one that's behind me. It is right there. This one. And it is his CM Punk Best of Pay-Per-View 2014 Elite. Yeah, that's right. So, of course, before we sort of got Top Picks, we got the Best of Pay-Per-View Elites with the Builder figures. Best of, I believe it was 2012 was the WrestleMania 28 look. 2013 was the Mania 29 look. And the 2014 look was this look. Now, I like this figure. The attire is amazing. It is based off when's it based off? Money in the Bank 2013. And that is why I've got that shirt on, so it's accurate. What I like about the figure is he wore the attire SummerSlam 2011. Was it 12? No, it was 11, because then 12 was his Bret Hart attire. Of course, he wore it at that time. He wore it at the 2013 Rumble with black kick pads. And he also wore it a couple of times in late 2013. So it's good for fix-ups. Don't get me wrong, the attire is good. However, the face scan is what puts me off. I tried putting a close-up on the screen. And they did also include this with a basic as well. And this is sort of when he had that pre-Wolverine look. So, of course, the Elite 20 head scan is similar, except he has more hair. And I get what they're going for. You know, it's accurate. However, it's not the best scan. I like it personally because, you know, it represents that time. However, just because I like it doesn't mean it's perfect. You know, I would like Mattel to recreate this with True FX, because with True FX, I feel like this would be, you know, a lot better. And I just feel like it'd be a big improvement in terms of what we got before. Even with that attire, you know, it'd be good for fix-ups. But overall, it's a good figure. But, you know, the face scan's not the best. Let's be honest. Next up, this is a recent one. And it's the 150, 150 basic main event line, whatever you want to call it, basic figure. Now, when this first got revealed at WrestleMania last year, there was I apologise, not the 150, the 154. At Mania last year, we got the 150 revealed, both Chase regular, and the 154. The 154 at the time was revealed as a different attire. They finally released it, and I believe the trunks are the same. I think they might be slightly different. However, the kick pads are different. And the attire, what it's based off now, and is accurate. He did wear it at one point, Survivor Series 2006, although the head scan was slightly different. The attire that we would have got before, I don't think the kick pads are accurate, but the trunks were. So overall, the attire, it's weird. But when we got revealed the figure last year, the head scan was perfect. It was sort of like the smirk, thick hair, long hair. It looked perfect. However, we finally got it, and they've basically just remade the Elite 1 head scan. Don't get me wrong, I don't mind the head scan, but they haven't really given it True FX. And I've noticed, when I went into Smith's a couple of weeks ago, for some reason, because it isn't True FX, it's prone to paint loss, even in the package. So when I went into Smith's, I was going to get 7. They had 7 in stock. I was going to get them all for parts, the head scans, the hands, the knee pads. Went in, and literally I think I only got 3, because the other 4, the head scans were just paint loss on the beard and hair. So it's annoying, but the face scan we got now, compared to what we would have got, it's not good, you know. It's a good figure, you know. There's a couple of fix-ups you can do with it. I think I've pretty much done all the fix-ups you can do with it now. I might get one mock eventually, but I think I've got like 3 or 4 loose, which, you know, that's perfect. But in terms of the head scan, the attire, it's not perfect. And I'm really hoping that at the Mania reveals, we get some throwback CM Punk's looks. I really hope we could get, it's actually above there, CM Punk at WrestleMania 25. Was it 4? Yeah, 25, when he won the Money in the Bank briefcase with a pink attire. He wore that a few times. If we got that as a basic or elite new head scan, I'd be happy. Now, AEW. CM Punk in AEW, to me, I really liked it. And I sort of do miss CM Punk in AEW. Because although, you know, there was a bit of drama, I quite like CM Punk in AEW. And I feel like if he never left, we could have probably got a few more figures. Now, the figures that we did get, a lot of them are really good. And, you know, as a whole, his figures were quite good, you know. I think we only got, 9 in total? But overall, they're quite good figures. However, the one that stands out to me as not the best is the Walmart exclusive. Now, this is a re-release of the Chase Unmatched 4, just with a hoodie, AEW hoodie. And in this same series, there was a Hangman Adam Page with a repaint. Now, I get that AEW a lot of times sort of re-release figures with a jacket, but you've got to bear in mind, CM Punk when he was in AEW was probably the biggest name, the biggest draw, and we finally get his Unmatched figure, and the Walmart exclusive, they could have maybe done something slightly different, maybe had another promo look, but they just give us the same figure. Don't get me wrong, I really like the figure. It's an easy way to get the Chase, but, you know, it's a re-release. You know, it's one of those things where I really wish that we could, you know, looking back now, they could have probably I can't remember, I think it was late 2022 it released, so they could have even maybe given us his full gear 2022. was it, yeah, Full Gear 2021 look when he faced Eddie Kingston. They could even maybe given us that. So I feel like that figure, it was definitely a letdown when we finally got it. However, the only good side about that is Mock. It does look a cool figure, to be fair. The box, it does stand out. And along that line as well, the Unmatched 8, that's an honourable mention. The Unmatched 8 CM Punk figure, I quite like it. You know, it's good. It's a good throwback Punk figure, but overall, he's not the best figure, but I do quite like it. So that's why it's an honourable mention, because it is a cool figure. And, you know, there isn't really much to complain about with that figure. And that pretty much does it for the list. Because I don't want to... Now, if this was someone else talking, they might think there's a lot of bad CM Punk figures. Where it's me, I don't really think CM Punk's really ever had a bad figure. So, you know, he's had a couple that aren't perfect, but in terms of bad figures, he hasn't really had any. So this video is quite hard to make. But make sure you keep your eyes out for the next one, the best CM Punk figures, because there's definitely a lot to talk about there. So I think that pretty much covers it for this video and everything I want to talk about. But make sure you like, subscribe, comment, all the usual stuff. Keep your eyes out for the next video. And keep on collecting, I suppose. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.